Hey guys, hope you're having a good week so far. It's Friday, super happy to be at the end of this week. It was a busy week for me and a really hot one. I hope that where you're at, it was not as hot as here in Vermont. I know I have a few mamas that are out of state, so I hope you stayed cool if it was as hot as here, because we didn't even put our AC in. We were gone for 2 months out of the house, traveling, and when we came back, we were like, oh, the summer is over and it's so rainy, and so we didn't put in any air conditioning units. And then this week hit and it just was blazing hot. So we did end up putting in a small unit in the living room just to stay cool, but definitely slept like shit. So if you did too, we're in the same boat, and I'm really excited about this cool down and just being able to sleep. Sleep is really essential. As a mama, I know you understand this, especially if you are currently with a little one and waking up at night to feed. So definitely sending my love to you. I'm not there anymore. My kids are bigger, but it definitely is hard when I don't get in my rest and recovery, and I do believe that it really does influence not only my performance, but it also influences my all of the injuries that I've had. I've had a few injuries throughout time. It almost kind of gets slightly inflamed. It kind of tells me like, hello, we're here, and we just want to remind you that you need to take it easy. So I'm going to use this weekend for recovery. I'm going to a yoga nidra class tonight and some just relaxation, and that I'm really looking forward to. It's my first time since 2019 to go to a live yoga class. I really haven't been doing any yoga in a very long time, mainly because of like hip, low back injury, and certain yoga poses like the up dog really aggravate it, and so doing it multiple times within a session aggravates it. So wish me luck. I'm really excited. I can't wait to just relax and just kind of get back into kind of doing yoga with the community. I think it's really important that even though you guys have my program and it's great and you can get your work like sweat and work out in at home and it's so convenient, and I work out in my gym, I don't go to gyms to work out. To me, it's really important that I have another practice of some sort where I do it in a community setting. I haven't done it, and I realized how much I miss it, so that's kind of what I'm doing. Okay, so today I have two things I want to go over. One of them is the kettlebell swing, because we do the swing a lot, and there is a tip that I think could be really helpful in the kettlebell swing. And then the second thing I want to go over is the rear foot elevated split squat and how to find your foot position. Okay, so those two things I want to cover. Let's go into the kettlebell swing first. So when you do your kettlebell swing, there is a tip that I think could be really helpful in understanding who's doing the work. I always say in my cues, the hips are the driving force in your kettlebell swing, and that's absolutely true. Your arms are really not doing any work here. Once you lock in your lats and you hold the two pieces of paper under your armpits, think about like having $200 bills under your armpits that you're squeezing tight and you don't want them to fall out. And in the whole swing, that's what you want that to be your driver. But that's not what I was going at. I was going at what I call the float, the kettlebell float. The float is when you swing the kettlebell through, it comes up, and then you allow it for a split second to float up in the air, and you're not initiating the swing back through the legs, okay? The kettlebell will float and then come back down. Allow the bell instead of the hips to drive the swing back through your hips. And that actually you can achieve by using a bell that's hard enough for you. So you can't really achieve that with a light bell. I have a 20 kilo here, and to be honest with you, this is really light for me, so it may or may not float today, but I'm going to show you what I mean by the float. And maybe I'll just switch out my bells actually really quickly, because I think it's really important that you see that split second where my kettlebell stays up in the air. So again, choose heavier bells for your swings. Sometimes a heavier bell in certain movement actually will fix the movement. For example, if you do just a regular body weight squat, for some people, that's really hard. They don't have a force that helps them. But if you give someone a goblet hold, their their goblet squat becomes a lot better, a lot tighter, because they have to fight that weight, okay? So there's really good reason why we want to use a heavier weight in your kettlebell swing. So I'm gonna switch out my weight. I'm gonna take a much heavier weight. So this is a 53-pound weight, okay? So we're going to 53, and the 53 really helps me have that situation where it floats and then quickly comes back down, but the bell guides that, and so you've got a lot more force coming from your standing position, all right? And that force helps you get back into the next swing, and really works the core a lot more and the glutes, all right? So, all right, I'm gonna do like 3 to 5 swings so you can see what I mean by that. All right, get into that swing position. And park it. So I allowed the bell to bring me back down. It may be hard for you to see in the video because your eye may not be as trained, but you will for sure feel it when you start doing it. So allow the bell to float and choose a weight that's heavy. If you have a 16, and I know a bunch of you already, and I know kind of like the weights that you're working with, some of you are really awesome at putting notes into your workouts. I know you can do a 16 easily. Most of you can swing a 16, but I don't want anybody to swing anything less than 12. I think that's way too little. You do not have enough power, and most of you are strong enough to swing a 12. If you need to send me a video, please do so. Send the video in the group chat, and it would be awesome for everyone to see it, and I can give you notes right there in the group chat. I think that's it. That's all I wanted to cover for the swing today. Let's go quickly into the rear foot elevated split squat and show you how to choose where to put your foot. So I'm gonna grab my bench. You can do this on anything. It does not have to be a bench. It can be a couch, whatever works. So how to find the best foot position. You want to be maybe standing with the back of your feet touching the bench. Take a step forward, just your regular step, and then place the back foot on the bench. This is approximately where you would be. Now, you gotta test it out. If you are doing this and then you're folding forward, you don't have enough space, all right? So you may need a little bit more space here, but you also don't want to do this and pull on that hip flexor, all right? So we wanna find that sweet spot in the middle and drive that knee down while your knee, the front knee, isn't tracking too far over your toes or anything like that. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I'm not a stickler for things tracking over the toes as long as the form looks good. I think we all have different bodies, and so it depends on the exercise. And some exercises it is okay to go over the toe. I mean, that's what happens in our you would come down and have plenty of space, have a nice 90-degree angle here, and come back up. All right, so stand with the back of your legs facing, do a step, place your foot, make sure that ankle is free, and then find the position that works best for you. Sometimes people have some restrictions in the hips, and you just have to kind of work with that and figure out if maybe you need a little bit more mobility before you start. So do a few mobility exercises, maybe some dynamic stretching of the hips in order to get into this position and feel like you're not tight or pulling on your hip flexors. So those are the two things that I really wanted to cover today. I think it's really important that we keep talking about the movements that are in our programming. Again, if you do have any questions for me, put them in the chat, email them to me. I really want this to be a program that feels like I'm training you one-on-one, but that you can go weeks without asking me a question. So I think that that's really what I want to be kind of the number one pillar of this program. So if you do have questions, do not hesitate to ask them. If I make a mistake in programming, I type everything out myself. If there's something missing, please let me know, and I can fix it immediately instead of you being like, what did she mean by this? Why is there no video of this? So human error does happen, and I want to be available to all of you to fix it. So I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Do something for yourself, even if it's just, sit down with a cup of tea and a good magazine article, because let's face it, books are really hard when we have small kids, but just do something for yourself. Just a few minutes of, silence where you can spend time on you. All right, that's it. I hope